On September 14th, 2004, seasoned survival expert Bart Sher set out with his father on a hunting trip to Red Lake in the Yukon, Canada, a vast, untamed region known for its rugged wilderness and the rich wildlife. Schleyer, who had spent decades mastering the skills of living off the land, was well prepared, carrying with him equipment, weapons, and the knowledge of a man who seemed almost inseparable from nature itself. Yet 2 weeks later, he mysteriously vanished without a trace. On October 3rd, search teams combing the area stumbled upon a shocking scene near his campsite. Lying in a clearing was Bart's severed head. His skull had been crushed with extraordinary force, fragments scattered across the ground as though smashed by something unimaginably powerful. What puzzled investigators even more was the absence of the rest of his body. No bones, no remains, nothing. To deepen the mystery, authorities later discovered strange evidence on Bart's personal camera, a disturbing photograph and a chilling short video, details of which have fueled speculation and fear ever since. Born in 1955 in Washington State, Bart Sher seemed destined for a life intertwined with nature. His fascination with the wild began almost as soon as he could walk. At the age of 4, he traveled with his father to Africa, joining him on a hunting expedition that left a lasting impression on the young boy. By 10, Bart faced a defining moment. After failing to bring down a leopard, he broke into tears. His father comforted him, explaining that hunting was never just about taking an animal's life. It was about patience, respect, and forging a deeper connection with the natural world. Those words shaped him profoundly. Determined to dedicate his life to understanding wildlife, Bart pursued the study of biology, eventually earning a master's degree in wildlife biology from Montana State University. His academic achievements were not just about textbooks and classrooms, they reflected a lifelong passion. He combined knowledge with fieldwork, building the foundation for a career that would make him one of the most respected wilderness experts of his generation. He went on to spend an impressive 14 years working with the interagency grizzly bear study team, traveling extensively across the vast and rugged landscapes of Alaska, Montana, and Wyoming. During the 1980s, he played a crucial role in Yellowstone National Park's ambitious grizzly bear recovery project, contributing to efforts that helped restore the species to its former range. Over time, he became widely recognized within the wildlife community as a leading expert in the challenging field of live animal capture, often demonstrating remarkable skill and courage. Beyond his professional expertise, Bart was known for his unconventional, primitive approach to nature. He preferred hunting with handmade wooden weapons, crafting them himself with meticulous care, and starting fires using friction techniques rather than modern tools. He believed that these traditional practices not only honed his survival skills, but also allowed him to connect more deeply with the natural world, fostering a profound respect for the wilderness and the creatures that inhabited it. In September of that year, Bart rented a small seaplane and flew alone deep into the remote Yukon wilderness, venturing into a region few dared to explore. On the 14th, he set out for Red Lake, the largest body of water in the area, known for its stunning, untouched scenery and abundant wildlife, which made it a prime location for both hunting and solitary camping. He meticulously packed supplies to last for 2 full weeks, including food, a tent, multiple water bottles, an inflatable boat. His camera, a shotgun, and his signature handcrafted wooden bow complete with arrows. Every item reflected his careful preparation and deep connection to the land. Yet what happened after he entered the wilderness remains a haunting mystery. By September 30th, when no word had come from him for over 2 weeks, his family grew increasingly worried and officially reported him missing. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police immediately launched a thorough and painstaking search of the area surrounding Red Lake, determined to uncover any trace of the experienced outdoorsman. Within a short time, searchers located Bart's inflatable boat, surprisingly intact and floating near the water's edge, suggesting he had made a controlled landing. About 60 meters into the dense forest, they discovered his collapsed tent, along with scattered personal belongings, indicating he had set up camp but never returned. Nearby, his backpack was found, carefully packed with essential survival tools: bear spray, a knife, a camera, and a radio receiver, all intact. Slightly farther along, investigators came across his deerskin quiver and handcrafted bow, meticulously propped against a tree. almost as if placed deliberately. The discovery of a camouflage mask stained with blood added a chilling and mysterious element, raising more questions than answers about the events that led to his disappearance and leaving a haunting impression on all who saw the scene. On October 3rd, a civilian search party returned to the remote area for a more meticulous and thorough sweep, combing the dense forest with renewed determination. It was during this search that they made a chilling and grisly discovery: a human skull lying in a sparse patch of the woods. The skull shows signs of catastrophic trauma, having been struck with immense force, which has shattered it into multiple fragments scattered across the surrounding ground. The sheer violence implied a sudden and powerful impact, leaving investigators and family alike horrified. Despite the devastating condition of the remains, Bart's family immediately recognized the skull as his, their worst fears confirmed. Adding to the mystery, no other skeletal fragments or personal items were ever found, leaving a gaping void in the investigation. Subsequent forensic testing confirmed beyond doubt that the skull belonged to Bart Sher, deepening the enigma surrounding his disappearance and fueling questions about how a man so skilled in survival could meet such a violent and unexplained end in the wilderness he knew so well. At first, authorities considered the possibility of a grizzly bear attack, as the region surrounding Red Lake was known to be inhabited by numerous bears. However, this theory quickly began to unravel under closer scrutiny. Bart's campsite appeared undisturbed. His recently cooked food still sat in a pot, and all of his supplies, including canned goods and other provisions, were left untouched, something a hungry bear would almost certainly have raided. Further examination of the area around the skull revealed no signs of a struggle. The soil and vegetation remained completely undisturbed, which is highly unusual in a predatory encounter with such a large animal. Additionally, bears are known to partially bury or cover their prey with debris, yet no such evidence was present at the scene. Most strikingly, the skull itself bore no bite marks, punctures, or chewing damage, which would typically be expected in a bear attack. Taken together, these anomalies cast serious doubt on the initial theory, leaving investigators to grapple with a baffling and increasingly sinister puzzle surrounding Bart's sudden and violent death in the remote wilderness. Everyone who knew Bart described him not just as an accomplished zoologist, but also as a consummate outdoorsman and highly skilled hunter. Over the years, he had earned a reputation for remarkable feats of survival and marksmanship, often navigating some of North America's most remote and dangerous wilderness with ease. Bart had even managed to bring down massive moose and grizzly bears using nothing more than his handcrafted wooden weapons, relying on skill, patience, and deep knowledge of animal behavior. Those who knew him personally emphasized his cautious nature, his meticulous planning, and his extraordinary ability to adapt to unpredictable conditions in the wild. Given his expertise, resourcefulness, and years of experience, it seemed almost impossible that a bear, or any predator, could have overpowered him so quickly and violently. This only deepened the mystery surrounding his death, leaving friends, family, and investigators struggling to reconcile the man they knew with the baffling and brutal circumstances of his disappearance. Yet the scene contained several strange and unsettling details that defied easy explanation. Bart's pants appeared to have been carefully removed, folded, or laid aside, yet they bore no signs of tearing or blood, a perplexing anomaly given the violent trauma to his skull. His bow and deerskin quiver remained untouched, resting neatly against a tree branch as if deliberately set down, a striking contrast to the chaos implied by his death. And the most haunting question lingered: what force could have crushed Bart's skull with such immense power, and why? Investigators admitted that his death was highly unusual, defying conventional explanation. A spokesperson for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police acknowledged that the case remained unresolved. While authorities initially leaned toward the theory of a bear attack, they did not dismiss the possibility of something far stranger. Among the theories put forth, one of the most debated suggests that Bart may have been killed by a grizzly, not on land, but in the water. Some speculate that he went swimming when a bear suddenly struck, dragging him to the shore. Proponents of this idea argue it could account for the neat arrangement of his pants and the placement of his bow and backpack nearby, hinting at a bizarre and tragic sequence of events that continues to confound anyone who studies the case. But there's a major flaw. No known animal, other than humans, can crush a skull in the manner Bart's was found. This makes the bear explanation hard to accept. Another possibility is that Bart died of natural causes, such as a sudden heart attack. Yet at 49, he was reportedly in excellent physical condition. He could haul heavy loads, navigate difficult terrain, and perform hundreds of push-ups and squats with ease. If he had suffered from any medical condition, he likely would have carried medication, but none was ever found. This makes the natural cause theory just as doubtful. The third and perhaps most chilling theory is that Bart may have encountered something entirely non-human. Some researchers and locals point to the Wendigo, a creature from Canadian folklore described as a monstrous humanoid with immense strength and an insatiable hunger for human flesh. According to legend, the Wendigo's presence is often accompanied by a repulsive, overpowering stench, and it is said to move with uncanny speed and cunning, making it almost impossible to escape. While no concrete evidence proves the creature's existence, stories of the Wendigo have circulated for centuries among indigenous and settler communities alike, often as cautionary tales about the dangers of the wilderness. Intriguingly, the descriptions of this terrifying figure bear a striking resemblance to another legendary cryptid, Bigfoot. Both are depicted as enormous, powerful, and elusive, leaving only fragments of evidence behind. Some theorists speculate that Bart's skills and survival experience would have made him extremely difficult prey for any ordinary animal, which has led them to wonder whether his death might involve a force far stranger and more mysterious than anyone could have anticipated in the remote Yukon wilderness. Adding to the mystery are claims about Bart's camera. One photograph allegedly showed footprints near the lake, though without scale, it's unclear how large they were. Even more unsettling was a short video clip. A towering black figure, humanoid in shape, briefly appearing near his campsite before vanishing into the forest. The Yukon, where all this occurred, is a vast, untouched wilderness, bordering British Columbia and an area long known for Bigfoot sightings. Alberta has long been considered a hotspot for Bigfoot encounters. Some hunters even claim to have captured clear footage of the creature in these regions. There are also accounts of another body discovered under circumstances eerily similar to Bart's. The victim's skull was crushed and left on a log. Taken together, these details raise an unsettling question. Did Bart cross paths with something beyond human understanding? Bart Sher, however, was no ordinary man. He knew the wilderness intimately, understood grizzlies, and was armed with both rifle and bow. But Bigfoot, if real, would have been a very different challenge. Could it be that among the snow-covered peaks, something had been silently watching and waiting? Of course, all of this remains speculation. Bart may have met his end from causes entirely ordinary, mundane, or tragically accidental, with nothing to do with legend or myth. Those who knew him remember a man of rare character, kind, generous, and infused with quiet, infectious humor. Despite a life filled with daring adventures and extraordinary feats, he lived simply, showing little concern for material wealth or possessions. Instead, he gave his time, his passion, and his very spirit to the natural world, dedicating himself wholly to the creatures and landscapes he loved. Perhaps in the end, it was fate, a man so deeply connected to the wild, who walked among grizzlies and moose and prowled the forest with unmatched skill, becoming one with the wilderness he revered. Somewhere in the vast, silent Yukon, his remains likely still rest, hidden among the trees, rivers, and snowdrifts, and with each passing season, carried on the wind, shaped by snow, rain, and time, Bart quietly returned to the wilderness he cherished, becoming as eternal as the untamed land he called home.